Get you caught up on this morning. That includes important information about reopening.
Yeah, but we begin this morning with new reporting on how this virus compares to the flu. The State Department of Health and Human Services says coronavirus infections continue to account for the most deaths, but they're still warning the flu is also deadly. So far this season, 185 people have died from the flu. That's compared to 507 deaths from coronavirus. Officials say the flu virus is still a very serious concern for people 65 and older, especially those with health conditions.
And today, Charlotte Motor Speedway teaming up with the Red Cross and One Blood for a blood drive. The coronavirus taking a serious toll on donations over the last month, and blood is urgently needed this morning. So from 10 until 7, you can donate right there at the Speedway. Appointments will be honored, but hey, walk-ins are welcome. You will be required to wear a mask. We posted more details about where to go in the WSOC TV News app.
All right, and in less than 12 hours from now, North Carolina will begin the process of reopening for business. Here in Mecklenburg County, Phase 1 means that you'll be able to start shopping at certain stores and meet in groups as long as you follow social distancing. And we know so many of us are anxious to get back to life as close to normal as possible.
But before you can load up the car and head out to the mall, you'll need to know what's expected of you. Let's get to reporter Anthony Costura live in Myers Park with more on what opens today, what the rules are, and the plans to make sure that we don't see another spike in cases. Anthony.
And John, we are all expected to follow a series of rules, from big box stores to smaller shops like these in Myers Park. Now, Phase 1 begins at 5 o'clock tonight, and depending how well this goes over the next few weeks, we could move on to Phase 2. More on that in just a moment. But first, I want to bring you back to what is allowed to reopen. Under the governor's order, Phase 1 includes some non-essential businesses like clothing and houseware stores. They can only operate at 50% capacity, so you may have to wait to get inside. Parks that aren't already open will be. Gyms, salons, and theaters will stay closed, and most gatherings are still limited to 10 people. As Phase 1 begins tonight, the county plans to expand its testing. They'll look at 3 groups, including more people at risk, like anyone 65 or older, and people with other health conditions. The second group involves people with higher risks of exposure. The last group targets asymptomatic people. Health Director Gibby Harris says they'll monitor other metrics to make sure the county is on track.
We don't want to see rapid increases in deaths, or percent positivity, or hospitalizations. Currently, all of those indicators are remaining stable or are declining.
If all goes well under Phase 1 with reopening several more businesses, we could see Phase 2 as soon as May 22nd. That would fully lift the stay-at-home order, allowing restaurants and salons to open. And 4 to 6 weeks after that is Phase 3. And that means increased capacity at churches, restaurants, and other businesses. Keep in mind, if we see a spike in cases, we could stay in Phase 1 longer than this 2-week period. And, keeping your social distance, washing your hands, and wearing those face masks are going to be critical when you head out.
Absolutely.
Back to you.
Important that we all heed the guidelines. Anthony, thank you. Now, some malls, they're getting ready to reopen this weekend. Simon, who owns Charlotte Premium Outlets, Concord Mills, and South Park Malls, and their doors will reopen tomorrow. Okay, but that doesn't mean that all of the stores will be open. And there are rules to keep everyone safe. Sick employees will stay at home. All employees will wear masks and get daily temperature checks. Masks, sanitizer, and temperature testing, they are also available for shoppers. Crews will also be cleaning common areas like the food courts. A North Carolina health director is now sounding the alarm as the state prepares to reopen. An email obtained by Channel 9 shows the Franklin County health director emailed all health directors in the state, warning them about reopening soon. Scott Levine wants everyone to learn lessons from the pandemic of 1917 to 1919. His major fear is 2 weeks from now, an order that would allow places like salons and bars to reopen. He says the last thing he wants is a resurgence, and all of the social distancing that we have been doing would have been for nothing.
When you open up and allow more people to intermingle, no matter how many precautions you take, there's going to be an uptick. And we're not doing enough tracing and testing to really catch all of that.
And while the reopening is in phase 1 and it is gradual, the stay-at-home order will stay in effect until May 22nd at the earliest.
The changes going into effect later today come as the state saw its largest single-day increase in cases to date. Yesterday, the state reported 639 new cases, bringing the total to more than 13,000. But testing has expanded drastically. 525 people are in the hospital. In South Carolina, there were more than 7,100 cases statewide. U.S. senators are looking for new and faster ways to test more people for COVID-19. They want to create a plan for small businesses to pitch ways to test people out. They say they want the process to be similar to the TV show Shark Tank. The goal is to have millions of tests available per week by the end of summer. It's a $1.5 billion initiative that some think could change lives.
It has been astounding to see the way in which people have rolled up their sleeves and plunged in to this effort to advance therapeutics and vaccines for COVID-19.
Lawmakers say there's already been interest from hundreds of entrepreneurs hoping to make a breakthrough.
Well, now restaurants are making the decision whether or not to reopen and how. One Gastonia restaurant owner says that there is no clear timeline for his doors to reopen. Jim Morasso owns Webb's Custom Kitchen. It's a refurbished movie theater and upscale restaurant. Well, he said that he would lose money trying to serve fine dining for takeout or opening on a limited basis. He has been closed since the shutdown.
There's 110 people who are yearning to work and are hurting deeply to provide for their families. It's a very stressful time.
Morasso said the state has not set a date for reopening that would be beneficial for his business. He believes that it's time to reopen all businesses and to let the customers police themselves with guidelines for stores. Now, anyone going into a Gaston County building will have to have their temperature checked first. Yesterday, employees trained on how to screen visitors when restrictions are lifted. That includes a temperature check and a couple of questions. Now, those who pass will get a sticker allowing them to enter the building for that day. Anyone, including employees who fail, will need clearance from a doctor to return.
Can't say enough just how much we appreciate those frontline heroes, but consider for a moment the stress they're under right now. Novant Health told us even before the pandemic, physicians across the nation had about a 50% higher rate of burnout than the average person. So Novant made some changes to help its workers caring for COVID-19 patients.
We have a task force that is looking at how we can check in regularly with the people that are on the front lines of this crisis, the people that are dealing with the COVID patients regularly. Because to your point, they are human. They have emotions and they can build up. If you start seeing patient after patient and trauma after trauma, we have to give them a place to get some of that up and out.
Novant has a program, it's called Code Lavender. It's designed to allow medical personnel to debrief with one another about cases or really anything that's on their minds to try to alleviate some stress. Now, as we told you a few minutes ago, more people will be getting back to work under phase 1 that starts today.
Yes, in the summer, we know that when many parents are working, our kids, they typically go to summer camp, but what will that look like this year? Well, according to phase 1 of Governor Roy Cooper's executive order, summer day camps can open, but they must follow NCDHHS guidelines. There can't be sports or other activities without social distancing, and no overnight camps right now. We spoke with the YMCA of Greater Charlotte, and a rep says they're excited that camp will happen, but it will look different.
We'll operate at half capacity to make sure that we have our social distancing. Right now, we are evaluating our entire portfolio and really looking to see what we can and can't offer so we can get that information out to our families.
And they are not alone. Bethlehem Center of Charlotte will be offering some summer programs, while Mecklenburg County Park and Rec, they say that they are currently evaluating the potential to have summer camps, given the impact this pandemic is causing.